Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the McBiz radio program. It's Wednesday at 5:06, 5:07, something like that.
5:06 and a half.
And
there we go.
Thank you. Yes.
5:06 and a half. So
I need more me in the monitor.
all right, there you go. Okay.
And I was early today.
You were, yes.
How about that? Late for the breakfast meeting, but early for the radio show.
This all works out.
Things have a way of balancing.
As long as
balanced is
yes.
the way I see it.
You have to have balance in life, yin and yang, that kind of stuff.
All right.
But I was disappointed that our guest who spoke today at breakfast was not here, because I remembered that he was able to. Last time he was here, he talked about pulling stuff off old telephones.
Yes.
Yes, he knows.
So I brought my old telephone.
Oh, how
with
cool.
somewhere close to 800 to 1,000 pictures on it that I want to get off. And I was going to give it to him, but I guess I'll do it at the meeting.
Yes.
But I was prepared. See, I was prepared today.
Very cool.
That's Frank and Donna.
Yes.
Yes.
They own I Sell and Repair.
Yes.
3 locations. He's a smart guy.
He is. I enjoyed his talk this morning.
He's
I was there just in time, and he definitely is into his work.
because
Yeah,
the
you
way
can
he
feel it.
presents
You-
it,
yeah, you can
he
tell.
talks what he's thinking.
He digs it. He completely digs
That's
it.
right. That's right.
So
And
that
he
was
can
cool.
he can unlock phones. He has capabilities that go beyond, I think, what you would normally find and get at these chain type
Yep.
cell phone stores.
No, I just want my pictures off. I got a couple of trips there that I took a bunch of pictures, and I still haven't seen them. But then that's kind of how I do stuff.
He did a lens repair on a phone of one of my employees. That he did it in like 10 minutes. I said, "You want anything for lunch?" He said, "Sure." I ran around the corner to Wendy's. By the time I got back, the darn thing was fixed.
Nice.
I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, I came on time and properly caffeinated. I got my coffee today, Frank, since we can't seem to get somebody to bring us coffee during this radio
I
show.
know. We keep putting the call
We
out.
do. At least I do when I'm here.
I know. Yeah. But, and my Friday show, we've got Mrs. Peters' Smokehouse
Love their fish dip.
sponsors the
Oh my
Friday
God.
show now, right?
Do you get food?
Their fish dip is awesome.
Starting this Friday. Now, this is like the 4th week, I think they started sponsoring, and they go, geez, I forgot again. I go, listen, we're going to lock the door. You cannot come in the studio because all we do during the 5 o'clock hour, well, along with other things, but we do talk up Mrs. Peters' Smokehouse.
Is it good? I've
Oh
never.
my
I've
God.
never eaten there.
Their smoked fish dip is
Really?
outstanding.
So
Oh.
what they're doing now is I know we're digressing, but
No,
this
it's
is
okay.
But one of the things that they're doing is they built a patio, and they're going to be serving at the
Oh,
smokehouse.
really? Open a restaurant.
It's kind of like a restaurant. So you
Nice.
go to the window, you go to the counter, you place your order, and then you take the fresh from the smoke or
That's good stuff. right there.
fish. I mean, you can actually get mahi or whatever fish they've got going on. I think they got salmon.
I got some smoked shrimp there one time. It was
Right.
awesome.
Oh yeah, and then you could take it, and then they have tables for you, and they're going to have adult beverages.
I'm a big fan of adult beverages.
Yes,
Yeah, is it
And-
close to the radio station? I'm thinking about running over there after the show.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, right?
It's
got
still
me
in Jensen.
thinking.
It's been there forever.
It's in Rio, but
Yeah.
yeah, legally Jensen, but yes, and but it's so cool.
See, that was fun. When I first moved here, you're driving through. I'm
Yeah.
from New York, New Jersey. We've talked about this before. You drive through and you see the town, see the
Mhm.
sign says what you would think is pronounced Rio, R-I-O.
That's
Right, correct.
What
But
kind
the-
of car were you driving when you moved here?
Well, let's see. That was 78. So my mom, I think, had a 73 Eldorado.
Ooh.
It was nice.
Eldorado.
Yeah,
two-door. Nice.
it was nice.
That's a big old boat that floats.
Canary. It was like the pale yellow with the half vinyl top.
Yes.
Sweet car.
Oh yeah.
So it was probably that car.
They absorb bumps and sound. I mean, the whole thing's just one big rolling mass.
Oh, that was just a floating,
Oh, yeah.
floating mobile you could drive over anything. That was
When
a great
those
car.
cars get inertia, they just keep going.
I had an Olds was it an Olds 98?
I got a Delta 88 4-door.
This was the big one. This is the Oldsmobile version of the Cadillac. Was that the 98?
98.
It had a big 8-cylinder engine, premium gas.
Oh yeah, but cream and gas thing was what 60 cents a gallon.
60
Yeah.
cents. Yeah, actually, I sold it because it shot up to 60 cents a gallon. I couldn't afford the
Right.
premium gas at 60 cents.
You'd shoot somebody for 60 cents a gallon. But yeah, so driving through Rio,
Yes.
and I forget, I was talking to a native at the time. I have somebody I met from there. He goes, "Yeah, I was driving through Rio." He goes, "No." He goes, "I'm driving through Rio." He says, "No, it's not Rio." It's like, "Yeah, it is." He goes, "No, it's Rio." It's like, "No, it's not Rio." Who knew?
Yes.
So now
It's still it's still the same way, really.
It is. It's not changed much. Rio has not changed much at all. They
There,
have that roundabout now,
right.
but not much else.
There's that little archway thing you drive
that's
under.
been there years before I was even here.
Bowling alleys there.
The bowling alley, yeah.
My cover band used to play in that. There was a rock and roll club back,
Oh, wow.
back in there. We played a few places there.
Did you ever play any Aerosmith?
We did play some Aerosmith. In fact, Frank's going to cue some up, hopefully.
Well, that was the lead-in.
I know
did
that was
not-
good. So you were paying attention.
You know, I tried
Frank
to get. I tried to get. I didn't get arrows. What I got was this emulsion song.
An emotion.
सॉरी तुमसे बात करने का मौका ही नहीं मिला
This is not Aerosmith.
No, it is not.
So, all right. So,
But it kind of segues into my phone story.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to bring the phone. I went to India just before the election with a buddy of mine from college.
India.
India, yes.
India.
Interesting country.
Separation of classes highly defined.
It's staggering,
Yeah.
the difference. And
There's the haves and the have-nots.
there's a bit of class
Is there?
now emerging, but yeah, it's the poverty and the squalor.
It's iPhone season.
Whoops, iPhone
Oh,
season.
commercial. Anyway, so I have a bunch of pictures from that on my phone, which I was wanted to get
Oh,
off of
I
the
see.
phone. That's why. So
Oh, there's
there's kind of segue into
A
that.
direction.
Yes, it's not an aimless segue. It is aimed. So Frank, there we go. You want to talk about why this song is on the radio? Like why you're leading with this now?
Because you insisted on
I
it.
didn't insist. I suggested. I suggested. Well, you were talking about
Emulsion.
film emulsion,
Yes, but you said, yeah, of course, this is emotion,
right?
which is not emulsion.
No.
No, there's no
But it-
L.
See, I'm very musically rock and roll oriented. So when you said film emulsion, I immediately heard in my brain sweet emotion. I said, well, it's-
Okay.
I'm an entertainment lawyer.
All right,
in
I
Beverly
love it.
Hills.
So.
See, the chemistry brain that I have is just, I didn't get the equation. But there it is.
That's because you haven't played guitar.
Exactly.
Great song.
It's a great song.
Bit of trivia on this though.
Okay.
This song actually came to be because I believe the bass player just came up with a warm-up exercise on his bass guitar with the bass riff, and then they built a song around that.
Wow.
A little
All
bit
right,
on
well,
there.
that's
Aerosmith, when they first were the beginnings of a band, they had an international step band that I saw it on.
I saw the American Pickers. Yeah.
You saw it too.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the logo. It was a different logo. It was like that step marching on logo or keep trucking.
Right.
Guy.
Keep on trucking. What was
Yeah.
that? What was that guy's name? Oh, there's a. Oh, what is that guy's name? That was going to bother me. I'll think about it.
But
driving
I
home.
can't believe I would think one of the band members Steven Tyler or somebody would go crazy over that thing if it was restored.
Well, they authenticated it. They realized it was
Yeah.
theirs, and that's
Well, it'd be easy to do because that's a full frame vehicle, so you can fix anything on it.
that would be fun.
See, so this is the one I would have reached for to talk because we were talking about your picture framework.
Okay. Kodachrome.
See, this is the way my brain equates stuff, right?
When I think back on all the crap I learned in high school.
Right.
When was the last time you solved a quadratic equation, Frank? That's
A
all.
quadratic equation. It's been a while,
Talking about crap from high school.
right? Yes.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I think that, yeah, I mean, I remember, and you probably had the same conversations with your math teachers. Am I going to really use this stuff?
Algebra, yes.
Yes, algebra you will use. Geometry, maybe.
Geometry,
to
yeah.
some
An
extent.
infinite equation
play
has
pool.
a finite space. How you take an infinite equation that goes on forever, yet it has a finite number for the volume.
Wow.
See, that was over my
it's
head.
hard to fathom.
Right?
It's true though. It's
But geometry we use when playing pool,
calculus.
Yes, you do.
so that was useful. One of my math teachers equated some algebra stuff to sports statistics.
Okay.
You know, percentages
Sure.
of free throws. And I was like, all right, fine, I can. You know, and then you solve for x. I mean, simple equations, but you know, unless you're can be a math teacher or some brainiac in some physics lab somewhere. You know, that was.
Right.
I was English. I was liberal arts.
Right.
You know, I could do math, but I wasn't. The best at
Everything's
it.
math.
Yes.
When you
Music is math.
So when I was in chem class, we had to do a lot of our equations with slide rules,
Loved chem class.
right? And did you use, or did you have actually a Texas Instrument calculator, Todd?
No,
We
we
had-
had to do it all by hand.
We had calculators. I'm
Yeah.
a little younger than you are,
Yeah.
but
See?
not by much, but enough that
Yeah, I
we
mean,
had
a
the
couple of
Texas
years
Instruments,
makes, TI
Mhm.
out of Texas, right? They,
Put it this way, when I was
Yeah.
in freshman and sophomore year in college, we did batches on a mainframe to do delivery algorithms for an applications class in math.
you have the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they called you punch cards, and you have to turn it in. You put a rubber band around it, and you'd have to turn it in, and they'd run the thing through a machine that looks like a card shuffler in Vegas, and it gives you the results.
And now this
yeah.
this phone is probably 12 years old.
Yeah, where's Frank?
Has more computing power than most of the computers that put stuff on the moon.
See, if we had
Exactly right.
if we had our cell phone guy, it'd be a good lead in now.
It would be. Well, we can talk about him while he's not here.
He's a we
can talk well about him when he's not here.
We can. I have nothing but good to say.
No, he was fun to listen to. Seriously,
That's right.
it's nice to see somebody that into what they're doing.
Passion.
Yeah.
Passion. You can see the passion.
He said he was building computers when he was 12 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, something silly like that.
Drove his family crazy.
12, I was looking at comic books. But I was drawing the comic books. So,
That's
again, it's different,
Right.
different stuff.
Different
in
parts
any
of the brain.
business, passion creates remarkability, and that remarkability is what creates the lasting power of the business, and they get the word of mouth advertising. And why is this company over here doing so well? It's because they're remarkable. They stand out uniquely from the rest of the field. And how do you do that? Passion. That's the key.
There's another segue.
Okay.
There's a Rod Stewart song, I think, called Passion.
Okay.
I think. I'm full of semi-useless trivia.
John, do you like music that's complex or do you like simple?
Yes.
Both?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Yes, which is prog rock.
Oh, yeah.
Very complicated stuff. And then I love the 12-bar blues, simple, stuff. Anything in between. It's got to have...
The Yeses, they're fabulous music.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Deep.
And my dad gave me an appreciation for classical music, too.
Oh, yeah,
So, yeah, I like it all. Some stuff I'm not too keen on. I'm not too keen on the rap and the hip hop stuff.
No.
But
I've hated the Ramones for my whole life, but now I like them.
love the Ramones.
I like them now. Though.
They're
I like
super simple. It's straightforward.
Yes.
It's not pretentious.
It's kind of surfer music, actually.
Music to me is like ice cream. Tons of different flavors. You don't have to like them all, but you should be able to appreciate
But
it.
it's not. The heritage of where they became it's not exactly what most people think.
I don't know much of the history of Ramones. So I was right. There was passion. Good stuff. Love Rod Stewart.
That sounded like Tangerine Dream, actually.
Love Tangerine Dream also. That's
That's it.
another. Yep.
Oh yeah, that was a test to see if you knew, and you
Well,
did. You passed the test.
Yes. Yeah.
How about
bet.
Mahavishnu Orchestra? How about those guys? John McLaughlin, great guitar player.
Well, Tangerine Dream played a lot of the music in Risky Business, the movie with Tom Cruise.
Oh, did they?
Yes. Yeah.
What
CW.
a wealth of information.
Do you remember CW Bacall? That was on Sirius the other day. The trucker song,
Yeah.
Convoy.
Yeah, Convoy. We got ourselves a Convoy.
Right.
Yeah.
They morphed into a band called Mannheim Steamroller.
Oh, yeah.
That's the same guy.
Is it?
Yes.
And that they did Christmas
Yes,
music.
they do. Yeah.
Well, there's another. Who's the other group that does the Christmas music? Because we're gonna. I'm taking my family.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
That's who we're gonna go.
Oh,
see.
yeah.
They developed out of a band called Savatage, Savatage, heavy metal.
We're going this year.
progressive rock. Yeah.
Fabulous.
I've heard it's great. I haven't been. My kids have been, but I have not been. I might go this year.
We're going this year.
I wanted to get good tickets because a friend of mine is good friends with one of the guitar players, and it's like, "Can you get me hooked up?" He said, "No, I'm going to be seeing him in Alabama." So it's like, oh, darn it. So I don't mind paying for tickets. I just want to get good seats.
That's right. It's like when you go to I go to basketball games. I'm at good seats. I've had front row.
I've had front row for some concerts.
I've had to work myself to the front row.
Well, back in the day, you could do that. Back in the general admission
Right?
days.
Used to be
Well,
in
yeah.
baseball parks, the same thing. You would get the bleacher seats and then just keep working.
I will
your
tell
way
you at the
down.
Miami Heat games, it's still the old-fashioned, old-school way. There's a lot of long-term employees there, and there's ways, negotiation ways.
There's always ways.
I always
ways.
work myself right to the front.
We have ways to make you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now take, for example, go to the Orlando Magic. That's like going to Disney World. Everything's by the book, and there's no negotiations.
I was at that arena. I saw Elton John's last show a couple months ago.
Super clean, nice.
Yes.
But it's all by the book.
Most of the venues are like that now, especially for concerts now.
Yeah.
There are the days of there's like a bajillion different people with flashlights and checking your tickets every.
Let's tell you, the heat down there at that stadium, they've got employees that have been there 25, 30 years.
It's a good stadium.
Everything from the parking to the everything. I've done the gambit there.
I wish we had transit that would take us down there.
Yeah.
I wish Tri-Rail would come up here.
Yeah.
It'd be so nice just to get on a train and not have to worry about all that stuff.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Great. But if there's talk about Fort Pierce, isn't there? There's a possibility of maybe being a stop on one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about the Virgin
The Brightline?
Brightline.
Yeah.
Well, they changed from Brightline to Virgin now.
Oh, they did?
I will say, if anyone can make it work, I know Virgin could do it.
I didn't know Virgin took that over. Or
They did. Well, actually, what had happened was, as I understand it, Virgin had lent their name only initially, but there was a bunch of, for want of a better term, junk bonds that were being offered that weren't sold. So the train wasn't moving.
the train was not moving.
because the junk bonds were not sold. Suddenly, the Virgin names continues, and all the bonds have been sold. So they're going to continue they've started work on continuing the track.
That's
which
another-
means they're going to double track.
That's another brand that's remarkable.
Yes.
Richard Branson and Virgin.
Yes.
He started as a record company. You know that, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah, you use records. You
Yeah.
buy and sell.
So if they come and do something up in this neck of the woods, that would be really a boon, I think, for this area. I think so many people would take advantage of it.
There would be culturally, the not just commuting, but I'm talking about the people from this area maybe going to Miami, or Miami people coming up this way, not just to get to work. Experiences, like you talk about going to a concert down there, or going. There's a lot of things to do. I mean, entertainment. I don't know. Younger people do things they do. Go out at night, dinner.
I'm sure.
Stuff.
I'm sure that the Martin County old school is going to not want that. A stop here and fine, because Martin County.
But I like it for the reason we're talking
Right,
about. I don't
exactly.
think the commuter thing fits. I don't know. I don't think you can put enough cars on there to make it work.
No.
Say where we go. A great Aerosmith remake of an old classic blues tune.
You never see Steven Tyler when he was really, really, really young. He's still kind of. I always thought it was created, but no, he was really looked that way.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Your mind could travel into thinking it was a creation.
No.
No, that he really looked that way.
Steven has been an.
It's like
interesting
he's
character.
a guy that looks like a beautiful girl,
Well, not so beautiful. He was never really pretty.
but in that girl way.
He had that rock and roll,
Right.
androgynous sort of thing going
There
on.
you go.
Yeah.
I think it was a good choice of words.
Yeah, but I always
Androgynous,
thought it was done. No,
it was
the real deal.
Let's talk about authentic and passion. Those guys from back then, that's what they did. They were authentic. They were passionate.
Well, the passion you do the people like in that era would travel somewhere to get a spot, and by the time you paid gas and food, you ended up with $5 in your pocket. But it was done out of love and just what you do.
And it wasn't as expensive. I remember I used to go to the last big outdoor concert I went to back in the 80s was like, I think $20.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 bands.
Yeah.
One of them was Stones and Van Halen. I think I was at that show, the T-Bowl in Orlando. Now, cheap seats are $100 in a venue. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it used to be that the musician made the money on the records, and they did the shows because they had to. And now it is the marketing end of the performance that makes them the money, and they don't make the money on the record.
yeah, the record deal's
Deal's over, but so it's merchandising and selling T-shirts and getting all the money when you travel around. Kind of what Willie Nelson's done his whole life. That's kind of his gig.
Mhm.
He was a traveling kind of guy. Willie Nelson,
Another great.
Farm Aid.
On the road again.
I used to see him I saw him in Farm Aid.
Did you?
Yeah, Farm Aid.
85, 84, yeah.
84. Down at University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana.
Wow. I did not see that show.
I saw ACDC there.
I saw ACDC back in the day.
I used to go to
Who-
Alpine Valley. Up
Who was the first concert that you remember seeing, Frank?
The Carpenters.
Okay.
I like that music too. I didn't used to, but I do now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was back in the 70s.
Early 70s.
Yes.
I think.
I love ABBA too.
Well, you and 7 bajillion other people,
Yeah.
they're one of the most, most successful bands ever.
Right.
That's just that voice. Her voice is.
It was great music. I mean, whether you liked that style or not, it was well choreographed music.
Mm.
But it was the voice, like how Stevie Nicks with Fleetwood Mac. It
Mhm.
was the voice.
Yeah, Stevie was great. She's still good.
She is.
She is.
She still has, the chops. As
Still
it
has
She
the
were.
chops.
reminds me
Yeah.
of like a witch or something.
She kind of
She had-
cultivates
Is that
that.
that
She got a
genre?
little,
The
she got a little
witch?
more severe looking.
No, but it was a good.
Well, she's what, 70, whatever. I mean, she's no youngster.
Yeah, but you never know it to hear her voice.
No, she can still sing.
Yeah.
Ann Wilson can still sing.
Yeah.
From heart.
Yeah.
She's
Ugh.
pushing 70.
Isn't that amazing?
It's hard to keep that going for that long. I won't say very few. There's a smaller percentage of people who can sing as well or better than they could back in the day.
Right.
Paul Rogers from Bad Company is one of those guys. His voice has gotten better over the years,
Right.
whereas other singers, their voices have
Not so much.
deteriorated
Yeah.
drastically over the years.
Right. Sinatra was amazing.
Sinatra kept it. Tony Bennett,
Yes, I was just going to mention
he's
his name.
amazing. Tom
Yeah.
Jones is
Crooners.
still killing
A
it.
crooner though, it's a little bit easier. I think.
Yeah, Tom Jones is still out there killing it though.
Yeah.
His voice is just amazing.
Whatever happened to Engelbert Humperdinck? Because I mean, they were great rivals.
I don't know. Is he still with us?
I don't know. Maybe he's passed.
Maybe we should Google that. See
Yeah.
what Miss Google says.
What about Donkey
She seems to know everything.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Donkey Sheen.
Yeah.
over
He's
there in
still
Vegas.
around. He's still around doing stuff.
Wayne Newton. He looks younger than he did 10 years ago.
I know, isn't that amazing?
He's stretched a little bit, but he
we
looks
are
younger.
break, so I can check on Google.
You can check on
All right.
Google.
Fair
We'll
enough.
be right back. This is in honor of our friend John here.
That's your go-to with me.
It is.
It's a good song. Love. Who? How did you not like Peter? How do you not like Billy Joel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Our listeners, all 5 of them, will be happy to know that Engelbert Humperdinck is still with us.
Yes.
He's 84 years old, according to Miss Google.
See that? Good job.
So
Thank you, John, and thank you, Google.
yes,
All right.
font of useless information.
Yeah.
But we're all like 5 little thumb clicks away from finding anything
I know.
we want.
All right. So I play this every Monday for Todd.
Oh, love this song. Norman Greenbaum.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Spirit in the Sky.
Great
It's a
song.
bus driving down the road.
Yeah.
It's just a great song.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just, I could see walking into Brooklyn in 19 whatever smoke-filled room, and you open, that's playing in the background.
That song's held up still. Still
Yeah.
a great song.
It is.
Is music like that being created today? That's we still will say it's still great. I have my doubts.
I was having my doubts too, but I got recently turned on to some other newish bands. I won't say new, but newer bands, newer than 1970 and 1980, which is new for me. And I think so. I
There is.
just don't think that folks of our age are that exposed to it, so therefore we don't, know about
So
it.
it's indie type music.
It's not indie so much. It's just that you and I and Frank are not really. We don't have our
Receptors to get it.
have our ear on the pulse of that.
Yeah.
But
that's
there's
true.
My friends have been telling me for several years this band called Flogging Molly. Great band.
Wow.
I got turned on to them and they're fantastic.
Can we play some music?
Yeah, I mean,
Can
it's
cue it up.
It's like punk, but it's like Irish punk, folky.
We just have to watch this and make sure it's
No, it's
appropriate.
I don't think there's anything inappropriate about much of their stuff.
Good. Well, that's important.
Like some of the Ramones you couldn't play today. What's that one with the baseball bat or something?
Oh, there's lots of stuff you can't play anymore.
yeah.
What's the name of it?
Flogging Molly. Great band.
Yeah, man.
And
There
another
it is. Comes up.
yeah, they're huge. And my friends have been telling me
How
for
about
years.
Drunken Lullabies is one of their songs. That's the
Flogging Molly.
If I ever leave this world alive,
That's a good song.
all right, we'll try that one.
But it's like Irish folk punk altogether. It's just an interesting mix.
Yeah, all right. Well, of course, the
Commercials.
Oh, so it has an Irish
Oh yeah.
yeah sound to it.
Yeah. It's like if you
Like
if
river dance kind of stuff.
river, yeah, it's very
Yeah, it does. You're right. There's going through a stream.
but there's harder
Moss.
stuff too, not just the acoustic stuff. So there you go. If you're new to Flogging Molly, I highly recommend them.
okay.
If I ever leave this world alive, well, thank you for the things
Oh, this
you
is good.
did in my
It's fantastic.
life. If I ever leave this world alive, I'll come back down and sit beside your feet.
It's interesting how they
tonight.
ended up tied in with the punk stuff. I guess some of their stuff is actually much more punk than this, but it's very melodic, and that's what I like.
I guess if you like a genre of music and you are from an area that has its own flavor, you blend the two, and this happens to be a fabulous
Right.
blend.
So I highly recommend those guys. So there's other good stuff. There's a band called Muse, M-U-S-E. Again, they're not new, but they're new to
I've
me.
heard of that.
And they're very, to me, it's melody. If a song's got melody, I'm all about
It's
it.
always melody first. Yeah.
What's
for me.
melody? What's the difference between melody and harmony?
Well, harmony the melody is the main gist of the song, the main musical route of the song. The harmony is sort of like the side route that complements the melody. So
Oh, it's deep.
that's not that deep.
I know.
Well,
For me, it is.
well explained. Yes.
But you hear it all the time. You just don't know it until you break it down. So like
I thought harmony was like a barbershop quartet when they.
well, it is, but there's still the main melody line, and the harmony is the side stuff that
Add-ons.
supports it.
Add-ons.
Yeah. So like you have a master computer on the car, and then you have all these other computers that have to network into, so they all speak harmoniously
Or if you
with
have
one
an add-on
another.
on your cell phone.
Yeah.
Frank has a cell phone. He adds on. So
Yeah.
It just adds a nice little color
Yeah.
to the main melody.
A lens that maybe is tinted.
It's kind of like a kaleidoscope that blends, because again, there's you have to have the main melody to go off of. That's your
But it creates this harmony, has this sound that like is pleasant to your ear, and I don't know, it's like a ringing that
because it fulfills
like
it.
it's expansive or
Right,
something.
yeah. But like, think of any song that you can think of. What you're thinking of is the main melody. You know, jingle bells, bum, 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 that's the main melody. But you can harmonize off of that with complementary notes that
John,
enhance.
you make it so simple. Even I understand.
Well, it's not that complicated, and I'm not a music major. I can't.
But
read.
complicated doesn't have to mean quantity. It can be a concept that's very hard to understand for someone that's not
musically inclined.
Yeah, I'm not. It's a different subject matter for me that's completely way outside my realm.
The first time I got the concept of harmony in my brain, I was taking actually vocal lessons from a local woman that I used to teach tennis to. And so we were talking about this, and I said, well, you know, I can harmonize with other people because there's a space in there that needs to be filled. If you fill the space, if you fill the space with the right sound,
you are defining this and filling in the blanks for me. It's
go.
like you're coloring it in for me. I get it.
So now you can harmonize.
Can a voice be developed with a person?
I believe so, and every music teacher I've talked to said yes. Not that everybody can sing like, you know, Pavarotti,
but it can be developed.
But yes, you can go from not being able to sing to being able to sing better. Again, you may not be able to do it,
but it'll be pleasant enough that someone could tolerate it.
I believe so, but then there are some people that just can't, you know, like there's some people that can't draw a straight line or draw a circle.
Right, but if they practice enough, though, it'll look better.
It'll look better, but it may not be as good as somebody who's a little more naturally inclined to do that. It'll look
like me fixing cars. I mean, I can fix a car.
Yes,
someone can get there from here, but it might have coat hangers and duct tape involved, but it's still fixed.
I may be able to watch a YouTube for 75 hours and be able to change a fan belt, you know, maybe. But again, somebody who's more mechanically inclined, you can see that thing. It's like, oh, I can see that thing exploded.
That's how it is,
and I can see it contracted.
That's I can see in my mind.
We all have our little
how things work.
Exactly. Exactly. And I do the same thing with paint chemistry. I see things exploded out. So when I understand the interplay between the coating, the substrate, what the dynamics are, and I see that again.
Well, I've got a project for you. A friend of mine has scuba tanks. Friend of mine has scuba tanks. Will you paint them?
Yeah. See, I understood all the in that sentence you just said. I understood all the individual words separately, but when you put them all together in that sentence, you lost me.
Yeah, really.
I know what a substrate is conceptually. I know all the other stuff, but when you put that one sentence together, it's like, okay,
all right,
whatever you say.
Well, yours is science because molecules, you're dealing with like bonding molecules and adhesion and heat and where it's going.
Film emulsion and sweet emotion. And
some things work and some things don't work. They don't play well together, right? And you need to understand why. And that always fascinated me because I would, as a kid growing up in my dad's paint store, I would say, well, he would explain to customers, you do this and you do that. Now, he didn't know why, but he knew that was the procedure.
Right.
I wanted to know the why. I would why him to death. And I go, but why? He goes, I tell you what, he says, when you're not busy, he said, I want you to take a can off the shelf and read the label back. And if you have any more questions, here's the phone number for the factory. You can talk to the chemist.
Oh, wow.
And I spent a lot of time.
And you did that?
Talking to the chemist.
Good for you.
Yeah. Because I wanted to know the why.
See, I'm not.
It wasn't enough for me to know if you did this step and then do that step. And that's fine. Most people just want to show me the steps.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know why.
Well, see, everyone's wired differently.
Yeah.
Things can be perfected through experimentation or by design. A lot of things in our history, as we look at the culture going way back, we see things that evolved because of experimentation. And then now I see we do design by thought process in the beginning. It doesn't evolve, which is an interesting way to think of things. We design things today that are designed. They don't evolve. Cars, older cars, if you looked at the evolution of cars, they built on the past. Cars today, many times, are built on requirements, pollution levels, and things. It's a fresh whole idea.
A good example of that is the 56 and the 55 and the 56 Chevy. 55 Chevy was the first iteration of that make and model, that design. And that was an okay car. But the 56, identical virtually,
That's right.
but a much better car because they fixed all the things that they got wrong on the 55.
That's evolution.
Yes.
But the way he was
And then
talking about
there's
that
then there's de-evolution, Devo.
Devo, another great band. We're back to the 80s again.
Here we go. I love
Well,
it.
since this is a McBiz program,
Yes.
theoretically, we should probably talk.
It's brought to you by the
some-
Martin County Business
yes,
Exchange,
We should talk about them a
Right.
little bit.
where it's just good business.
It is good business.
If you like our intellect that we're talking about and our subject matters and how we approach it, you will just delight in doing business with any of the businesses in our business group.
Or if you're stunned by our,
Mm.
we use the word intellect in some way, shape, or form, or just entertained by us.
Right. So today was an MCBE day for me.
Yes.
Bumper crop, because I went to a Stewart Main Street meeting and with some of the principals and working through some issues. And they said, gee, Frank, we need to get you a new computer for your job. I said, okay, I got a guy.
I know where this is leading.
Right. So you give Eric Keem at C&W. I was at his office briefly today explaining the wheres and whys of what we need. And they said, well, you also need, we need business cards. I said, okay. I said, you know what? Just right around the corner from Eric's office is Roy Seike's office, American Speedy Printing. I said,
I really like this story.
yeah. So I went to Roy, visited with him, gave him the order. He's okay. He's bada boom, bada bing. He's, send me the image of what you want the.
I could see him saying that. Too,
Right,
actually.
almost, but you know what I mean? It was just boom,
Right.
boom. And it was because I already have the connections. And
that's what this business group is about. It's execution of all these businesses
Right.
takes place and it works, and you're able to get things done that you need to get done, and there's no risk.
right. So Patty McCauley, who's our incoming president starting next year of Stewart Main Street, she works at Seacoast Bank. So she needed to get some information about credit card processing
There you go.
for Stewart Main Street. And I said, I got a guy.
Kind of guy.
So she talked to Larry Fiorella today after the after our
Cool.
meeting at MCBE. He went to visit with Patty, and so I feel
Yeah.
solid
You should.
about that.
Larry's really good. I
because-
use him.
But you see, the thing is, the whole idea about MCBE is not just to
Business with ourselves.
Yeah,
That's not what it's about.
It's about knowing who to go to in each category that can really be the problem solver,
Yep.
because it's all about solving problems and getting that solution quicker than the next guy, right?
Not necessarily quicker all the
Well,
time.
I mean, but better, quicker, better.
Yeah. Just, that you
Yeah.
can do it. Like, for example, and I'll flip it on back to you. I had that photograph that
Oh.
we were talking about. Took it 30 blah, blah years ago. I took it of the village of my dad that was born in Greece.
Yeah.
And it was old. It was tired. And I came across it again recently. So I brought it to you
Yeah.
to have it reframed. Well, of course, the film emulsion stuck to the glass.
You mean
and-
sweet emotion?
Yes, that too. It had lots of sweet emotions on that photo. But Frank actually was able to have your guy re-snap the photo,
Right.
re-enhance the colors, brought
Mhm.
it back to life, framed it, and now it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I just gave it to you. I was like, just take care of it.
Right.
And it was taken care of, and I'm super happy. And as soon as I put it up on one of my walls, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you and let you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, just make a phone call. It's done.
Yeah.
That's nice. But so yes, Martin County Business Exchange can handle. We have a huge swath of business types.
You have a Trans Am, don't you? That you
I
really
do have a Trans Am,
We can
and
take care of that too.
I think 2020 might be the year for that. We'll see what happens.
All right. We're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the Trans Am. And
I would like to talk about that actually.
We can talk about it.
yeah. All righty. Take care. We'll be right back. right, I'm playing this in honor of Frank and Donna.
Right.
I figured it kind of fits a little bit.
Where are the flying cars? That's what I want to know.
Well, they're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got them battery operated anyway.
No, I saw how to build one on Popular Mechanics. I read when I was a kid. It was made out of plywood, and the car came apart, and you could drive it.
When was that cartoon? In the late 60s, early 70s?
The Jetsons, I don't know.
Let's
I
ask
think
him.
it's Hanna-Barbera. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
so definitely Hanna-Barbera. But like
Yeah.
we had all these grand visions of like flying cars, you
Sure.
know, like in the year 2000 or whatever that was. Those
Right.
seem so far away. And now we're at 20 almost, and we barely have battery operated.
They
cars.
always say, 40 years from now, 40 years from now,
Yeah.
40, every 40
generation
years
from now.
Do you know when you fly commercially, let's say you're flying to Atlanta, there are pre-prescribed roads that you take in the air, and the differentiation is the elevation.
Mhm.
It's not spacing, it's how high you are.
Mhm.
And I never knew that.
Mhm.
Friends that are pilots.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, and of course, when you're going east-west, there are even
It's always the same.
even numbered latitude.
Yes.
Your elevation is on an even number, and then if you're going north-south, it's going to be an odd number.
But now if you fly, what is it, sight or line of sight or airplanes, like in a small airplane, you can go anywhere.
Yes, that's
You're allowed to go into the airspace
yes.
of somebody else, but it's
that's VFR.
Yeah.
And then IFR is when you're using instruments.
Mhm.
Mhm. That's all. That's the extent of my.
and things are changing with your identification when you fly. I was just listening to the news today about you have to have that USA star on your license here starting next year, or else they're not going to let you get through.
Wow.
Really?
True.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you keen on knowing about the Jetsons, it
Yes.
aired September 23rd, 1962.
Okay, makes sense.
And it only ran until March 17th of 1963.
Wow.
Things were shorter.
And then later in syndication, of course.
Yeah. 63.
Yep. So
So-
September,
But I wonder how many episodes.
October, November, December, January,
they
February, March.
did.
6 months. Well, let's see. We can ask Miss Google. She'll know.
We didn't have time dilation because things took longer to do, and the expanse of the day was longer because you weren't as preoccupied doing 100 things. So things in episodes could be shorter, less shorter run, like the Brady Bunch, for example. Yet they endure forever, and we seem to think they were on forever.
That's true.
Right.
Well, look at the original series of Star Trek.
Well,
It's
the
only
syndic-
on for 3 years.
It's syndication. That's what makes it seem like it's on forever, because you
Right.
come home from school at 4:00, and it's every single day you watch whatever.
Yep.
And that's how you get to remember, learn it by memory.
Yeah.
It's like I know so many books.
V'ger. Anyone know V'ger?
V'ger, yeah. I am V'ger. The creator.
Yes.
Wasn't that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was that one.
Yes.
See, you can call us up if you want to know anything useless trivia. We'll put down our phones, and between the three of us,
We'll
we'll
banter.
probably
We'll-
figure it out.
It's actually quite between the three of us. Well, between you two, I'm just a add-on.
No.
I'm like the harmony today, or at least trying to be.
There you go.
You're
see?
Perfect.
you're the
Yeah.
melody.
All right,
melody.
I'll be the melody today.
Yeah.
I do like harmonizing. It's so much fun when you find that sweet spot when you're singing with somebody else. It's so much fun to get that.
Right.
It reminds me of the natural resonance of all objects. The vibration. It's just right.
Beatles, fantastic harmony.
Oh yeah.
Eagles,
I want to hold. I
Fantastic
want to
harmony.
hold your hand.
and they did weird harmonies too. Harmonies that were not common for
Right.
that day.
Oh,
Right, right.
there's different types.
Oh yeah.
So we could go deeper.
Oh yeah. That's just you can go deeper in anything. Deeper in cars.
Yes.
Back to the Trans Am stuff.
Yeah, so we got a few minutes left, so let's talk about the Trans Am.
We have 4 or 5 minutes to kill still.
Mhm.
And then in that 5 minutes, if you would tell me what is Pink Floyd and what is that stuff? What is that deal? Pink Floyd. Is it telling a story? Like, for example, The Wall.
The Wall's telling a story.
But
Roger Waters.
It's not just singing. It's
No, they're
there's
telling
stuff.
That's a
If
that's
you
a
don't-
concept.
If you don't
album.
eat your pudding, you don't eat your meat, you can't have
What
any
is that?
pudding.
I saw something on the computer the other day. Somebody put one of those posts up. Something about vegetarians can't have their pudding because they don't eat their meat or something.
Yeah.
It's just one of those funny things. Anyway, talking about
But
Pink Floyd.
are they a complex band like I think they are, or not?
Yes, they are a complex band and not a complex band. Some of their musical stuff is very simply laid out but played perfectly. Like David Gilmour, not the fastest guitar player ever, not the most technically, adept,
Yes.
but one of the best guitar players ever to
Well,
hold.
their music is clean. You could back in the 70s, you could play it loud and it was crystal clear. It was clean.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be complex like, say, Yes or whatever. But
Yes.
one of his guitar solo from Comfortably Numb is considered by many to be one of the best guitar solos ever recorded.
Oh, I'm going to re-listen to this.
It's perfect. It's
Comfortably Numb.
It's the
I know
perfect
the
guitar
one.
solo. I mean, and it's not that difficult. It's not that complex, but it's just perfect. It's like, all right, BB King back in the day. BB King and a lot of those blues players were not, we're not the best. I shouldn't say the best. Well, they're not the most technically flashy players, but you play the right note at the right time.
Execution.
Placement.
It's about McBiz.
Yeah.
Placement.
Calling the right person at the right time to get
Yeah.
something done. It's kind of
Yeah.
the same thing.
Okay.
Bring it back around to
I
McBiz.
like it. Okay.
See, we can circle around on anything. We can justify anything with a microphone.
I lived in Nashville for a while.
Nashville's a cool city.
Nashville.
It's a cool city.
Yeah, interesting.
Good
stuff.
barbecue.
Good music.
Really?
Great music.
Ryman, the Ryman Hall, I think it's called, where they play the country music right there in downtown Nashville.
Isn't that where Grun's Guitar is? Grun's Guitars, I think.
Yes.
It's a famous guitar store. Fun. I had some friends live in Nashville. It's a great town.
My wife worked for a plastic surgeon, so we get to get the stories and the people and the thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was quite interesting.
The thing about Nashville is there's so many amazing guitar players moving to Nashville to try to make it.
Not country too, though.
No, that's true. A lot of country, but not exclusively.
Necessarily.
But you could be
And they all live in Brentwood.
in some little bar at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday, and there's this guitar player that's just amazing. And they don't pay very well because there's so many of them. So like these.
That's right. When we first moved there, we were staying at the Sheraton Hotel there. The swimming pool was shaped like a guitar. And there was this guy, maybe 18 or 19 years old, playing out in the lounge. And he was just there traveling through. And I can't think of his name, Justin Coley. And fabulous song. And he just played for us, my wife and I. And we listened to it. And he didn't have two nickels to rub together. I gave him a couple bucks.
Yep. There's so many good players because everyone wants to go to Nashville to make it. It's like back in the 80s when all these guys went to Hollywood, California to make it in the hair metal band scene, like there's a bajillion of them out there. So
Poison.
There's a band that made it that God knows how.
Nobody knows. Okay. So we've got just a couple of minutes left.
So we should probably do something productive.
Well, I'm thinking we've touched on your Trans Am, but we really haven't, peeled that onion.
It's just
Okay, what color is
it's
it?
black. It's an 84 Trans Am that I bought new back in 84.
So you're the original owner.
Original owner. I did switch out the engine 10, 15 years ago. But because I wanted a 350 instead of the 305.
Okay.
So it has a little bit more power.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot more power.
Oh, yeah.
But I might go back to the 305. I kind of wish I kept the original engine, but I didn't.
Because why?
Just original. Just have everything original.
I just did a conversion.
Right.
He took
Did you keep the engine or
no? The 305. I don't have it.
84 IROC. I just put an LS motor in it. I just
nice.
delivered it. He just took it
Nice.
last Saturday.
Nice. See, the LS is bad. But yeah, black T-tops, silver interior. One of these days, I'll.
You're going to come to the radio show in it. You could drive it here.
That would be cool. Or come to MC.
man.
Yeah.
You
can
could
come to
pick up some fish dip on the way.
Oh my God, I want fish.
I'm going there right now after the show.
It's fantastic stuff.
Yes.
So who else
or
can
you
we-
come into the studio here on Friday. You don't even have to go over to Mrs. Peters. We'll hook you up.
Now, is there a baseline fish dip that they're famous for?
Just their smoked fish dip.
Yeah, I mean, they have
That's
several.
why I wanted to make sure I get the
the
good stuff.
mahi probably.
Yeah.
The smoked
I want
mahi.
what they're famous for.
Yeah, that's
they're-
smoked mahi.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Any other stuff is great.
Yeah.
Now I want
But they've got these fingers of I'm trying to what is it? It's a fish fillet of salmon fingers,
Oh.
and there's honey mustard one. It's brand new. They just added, and there's the garlic one. It's just to die for. It's just so good.
Have me a garlic.
Yeah, and then there's a spicy one if you like things hot and
I do.
spicy.
I do.
So they've got 3 different versions, and so they recommend that you buy a portion.
They don't advertise you, do you? Got this down.
Yeah. So right. So you buy a portion to take home, but take portion with you so you can eat it on the way.
Yeah,
Because,
right.
Oh, I like that idea.
Oh, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
I'm going to do?
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Well, we wasted another perfectly good hour.
Yeah. And I'm
That's
going
right.
to try to get Gary Stonecipher to be a guest with MCBE and see
Okay.
if we can get him to join.
Yeah.
Because he's a perfect
Sounds
perfect
good.
member for
A
our
good
group.
fit.
Guys,
Yes.
it was fun as always. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks.
Good night.